Well, they shamed Dome into doing an interview. Now, credit to Kamala Harris and her team. They understand she's a moron. They understand she can't speak really about anything. I've never seen a woman her age not know anything about anything. Just by living that long, you'd think you'd accidentally fall into some kind of knowledge about something, but not Dome. No, she's lived her life in such a soulless, repressive manner. She knows nothing about nothing. So who do you even get to interview her? Well, this lady who went on Bill Maher, Stephanie Rhule.
It's not too much to ask Kamala, say, are you for a Palestinian state if Hamas is going to run that state?
Okay.
Yes or no?
And let's say you don't like her answer. Are you going to vote for Donald Trump?
No, I'm not.
Kamala
I just said I'm not going to vote for her.
Harris is not running for perfect. She's running against Trump. We have two choices. And so there are some things you might not know her answer to. And in 2024, unlike 2016 for a lot of the American people, we know exactly what Trump will do, who he is, and the kind of threat he is to democracy.
That lady is the journalist who got a sit down with Kamala Harris. And so you'd think that it went well, right? It didn't go well. Here's a top fiver for you. Dome apparently learned a word holistic before the interview.
Some of the work is going to be through what we do in terms of giving benefits and assistance to state and local governments around transit dollars and looking holistically at the connection between that and housing and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing for working people.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what anything she said means. No one does. Again, you want to talk about an empty vessel. I realize that's pretty standard for politicians. I've never seen anything like this woman in my life. She doesn't even know how to pretend to know. She was asked, hey, how are you gonna, implement these communist policies like price gouging? Listen to her answer. She had to know this was coming.
How do you go after price gouging without implementing price controls? Because once we get in this zone, people start to get worried and they say, I don't know what she stands for.
So just to be very frank, I am never going to apologize for going after companies and corporations that take advantage of the desperation of the American people.
No one asked that. And look, she's so bad, even Norm and Norma can see that. I mean, look, politicians are supposed to pretend to give an answer. Dome can't do it. She's done this her whole life. The answer, this might have been the best. Even though it's our third, this might have been the best when she was asked, hey, so your down payments for people and all this money, how are you going to pay for this?
And how do you find that line to make sure corporations are paying their fair share, but they're not leaving our country?
Well, listen, I work with a lot of CEOs. I have spent a lot of time with CEOs, and I'm going to tell you that the business leaders who are actually part of the engine of America's economy agree that people should pay their fair share. They also agree that when we look at a plan such as mine that is about investing in the middle class, investing in new industries, investing in bringing down costs, invest in entrepreneurs like small businesses, that the overall economy is stronger and everyone benefits.
She knows a lot of CEOs. Oh, okay. All right. And those were, I wouldn't even call them hard policy questions. If you and I sat down for 5-10 minutes in a room, we could put our heads together and come up with not only facts, but better answers than that. It's not like those were difficult questions, but let's just go ahead and call those the hard questions in the interview. She then got to the point where she got some softballs. Obviously, Stephanie Rhule's there to make Dome look good. And she asked her, when have you ever made a gut decision? Listen to this.
Probably the biggest gut decision I've made most recently is to choose my running mate. Yeah. There were lots of good, incredible candidates. And ultimately, that came down to a gut decision.
Kamala Harris didn't choose Tim Walz. And everyone knows that. Anyone who's even vaguely familiar with politics understands that woman isn't making any decisions of any kind. The powers that be carefully vetted various Democrat candidates, and for purely political reasons, they decided Tim Walz would help them maybe win over the Midwest white guy who thinks Dems are a bunch of anti-white commies, which of course they are. That's why Tim Walz was chosen. Harris wasn't even involved, let alone a gut decision. But how easy is that question to answer? It's an easy question to answer, but not for an empty vessel like this. I've never seen anything like it. And maybe you think all those were the worst. Oh, you'd be mistaken. She was tossed a softball about something she's very clearly lying about. She's trying to normalize and pretend like she knows anything about what your life has been like. And so she told a big fat lie that she used to work at McDonald's. And she was asked during the interview about working at McDonald's.
The first one, just a fact check, because your opponent
There is
almost
no little
every
job.
day.
There's no such thing as a little job.
Okay, fair. Because your opponent almost every day seems to be talking about this. So I just want to ask you yes or no. At any point in your life, have you served 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, working at a McDonald's? Yes or no? That's it.
I have.
Okay, now the other job.
But it was not a small job. Like, I did the fries. I mean, yes,
Okay,
but I did.
She's never done fries. And she even did the fake excitement thing. Not a sesame seed bun! Just, okay. Look, again, every time I see this woman talk, it gives me some semblance of peace with whatever comes this November. If the country chooses that, or even if there's fraud and we get that, then look, probably can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again anyway. If America looks at that and says, yeah, well, we're pretty much screwed. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.